I'll read just one more recent one. Got to read recent ones. Oh, it's always like their recent ones more than their old ones. Which one is it? Oh, my wife and I are still newlyweds, almost. And we are, you know, to love second time around when you're older is a different kind of love. It's more companionship than feverish, you know, bed music. It's so when you actually are split up and apart, you do feel lost. Well, I do. So this is about that. Since you've been gone, I've been on retreat, so not to speak. Now a gunshot echoes through the still morning air. Corellas scatter. My Mingus morning bothers no one. It heightens the silence that wraps itself around these empty rooms. Piano trills run down my breakfast menu as our dog sits where your feet should be. You left the camera behind. I won't take photos of things you know so well. The flautist plays tambourines with his feet to embellish the beat, as you wear that chunky necklace to lift your heart. A white cabbage moth flies to the window and calls us out. I open the gate and look down the road. Jane Williams got lots of work there.
Thanks everyone. I'm also going to read from newer work. Andrew's right, we do prefer to read what's most fresh in our minds. And following on from Andrew's poem about togetherness and separation, I thought I'd read this prose poem, slightly different take on it. Renewal. It was before mobile phones and predictive text, before GPS. They were out walking together and there was a pothole or maybe a crack in the pavement through which the root of a tree had begun its necessary search for water, and one of them tripped, accidentally or on purpose, and the other was jolted. They became distracted, untethered, and before they knew what had happened, she had turned one way and he had turned the other. They found themselves walking streets peopled with neighbours who did not recognise the him or the her of them. It was a strange, skin-tingling tightrope walk. They walked through exhilaration to exhaustion. They walked until they found a resting place, a prayer room or maybe a watering hole, where she could let her slip, and he could run his own hands through his hair, and they could take stock for a moment, embracing their alien beings, remembering all they hadn't yet shared, old, odd things they hadn't thought worthy until now, and new, startling ones they were on the brink of discovering. They walked on, singly, somehow renewed, and when they turned a certain corner, there they were, more pleased to have been lost and found than they had ever been to simply be together. We must never, they agreed, each catching the breath of the other. We must never stop meeting like this.
I went to a launch of a haiku collection last week or the week before. Matt Hetherington, who's a great Melbourne, now Brisbane, haiku poet. And he said, which I want to repeat, he said, if you're going to have a launch, have as many as you can. So this is the second launch of this book, and thank you again, Andrew, for encouraging me to have it. And thank you to all of you for coming. It's lovely to see you all. So I don't know how many I'll read, I'll just read a couple. 2 a.m. Mosquitoes. My own blood on the wall. Lonely. I remember the mosquito. Private hospital. No patients in emergency. Full moon. Forest Conservator's office. The roof covered with moss. And there is a tradition too that sometimes people read haiku twice, so I'm going to read the one that you read
Yes,
as well,
please.
so which is effectively the second time. Waiter asks me, how many of you are there? Silence. Thank you for coming, and there's more books.
Thank you, Jane, Andrew and Andy. Have a drink, buy a book.